Today I'll show you how to master superhuman reflexes for sword fighting. So you don't need some high-level tech military stuff to train your reflexes or some drill sergeant to tell you how to do it. All you need is consistency, a few minutes of focused practice every day, and just a simple tool like this small ball, which a better alternative would be a tennis ball, of course. And the right drills that will make your reflex faster even before your opponent moves. Hi, I'm Michael Kozin, and my mission is to help you out leaving your video games to the side by training Longsword and getting you on the right path of sword fighting. So let's get back to the video. So today I'll be diving into one of the most underrated aspects of sword fighting, reflexes. Because reflexes are your instincts that are way more faster than you thinking consciously. Because when you're face to face with your opponent, you don't have time to think, you have only time to react. But we want you to react properly. So we want to train your reflexes so you could react, of course, properly under all of that pressure and constant chaos in an actual sword fighting scenario. Because sword fighting is totally not about just pure raw strength. It's all about who reacts first, who reads faster, and who moves with purpose. So before we go into the actual practice, my first point is why reflexes even matter. Every great swordsman, be it historical or modern, had to train their reflexes to become the number one. So they mastered the art of reacting under pressure. In an actual sword fight, you don't have time to think about it. You just have mere milliseconds to react. And that's why reflexes or instinct is a bridge which separates casual or just low-tier swordsmen and top high performers in longsword. Because these kind of sportsmen don't only train their technique, which is of course very important, and footwork and so on, but they also focus on their timing and their reflexes. So they had to practice separating their hesitation from instinct. And trust me, if you're coming from gaming culture, you know about that thing that reflexes matter in some sort of online or shooter games. Of course they do. But these kind of reflexes, when you have to input just one button to the game as quickly as you can, that's total bullshit, because you're training only eye to finger synchronization on a screen, on pixels. But in sword fighting, you have to also train your body, so link your movements with your reflexes. So you have to synchronize all of yourself. So we need to train your hands and your body to move with your eyes as one. There's a second point I want to talk about before we go into the actual practice, is that what reflex training actually trains. So it trains awareness, timing, and prediction, not just raw speed. And in some sort, it trains the ability to see the opening in your opponent's defense or his attack before he even creates it, so before it even happens. So you may acquire the better skill of reading your opponent better, which is very important in sword fighting. Also, it teaches you the mental calm under all of that pressure. When you're fighting, you may be stressed, you may be full of adrenaline, but you have to stay calm and breathe. And these exercises also make you better And that's how you dominate in an actual sparring. So let's get to our practice. I'll show you the first exercise we can do with this simple ball. Unfortunately, being outside, I don't have flat surface, but to every and each of these practices, you don't have to throw your ball upwards, but you can throw it to the ground to bounce it back. But my ground is unstable, so I would be just throwing it upwards. So let's start from the first practice, which is grab your tennis ball or just a toy ball, which you can catch with just one hand, in your palm, of course. Get into your fencing stance. Grab your ball in your main hand. If you're right-handed, then your fencing stance would be with the right foot forward and with the left foot to the back. Bend your knees a bit, and we want to throw our ball upwards and catch it with an extended main hand. And we don't want to catch our ball here, so we want to extend our arm from our just basic short guard here with our palm facing upwards. We want to extend our arm on the same height of our shoulders. Not here, not there, just here, just in front of us. So we'll do 10 times this kind of motion, without the lunge, sorry. Just this. We want to throw our ball upwards, and when the ball is in front of us, we want to extend our arm and catch it here, without any extra movements. So let's begin. We'll do it 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How to progress with this kind of practice. Now we'll want to throw our ball with our non-dominant hand and still catch it with our dominant one. This is the same practice, but we're throwing our ball with just another hand. That's all. So let's begin. 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ooh. Nice. If you want to learn how to build these drills into the sword fighting routine, then check out the link in the description, which is my private program called From Gamer to Swordsman, where I talk more about these things and I make lots of these kind of drills with just simple tools for total beginners in sword fighting. Come check out the link in the description. That's where guys build real skill without pixels, without any fake rewards, just pure and fulfilling grind. So before we go into our next practice with our ball, my third point that I want to tackle is building reaction under pressure. So once you've got the basic rhythm and intensity, the goal isn't perfection, it's unpredictability, because you need to be okay with missing your ball, failing and resetting, because that's totally normal. This is how your body learns to adapt instantly to each throw that you make. And you probably feel it because each throw makes your ball to fly into a bit different direction than the last time. And these kind of practices in an actual sword fight sparring make you go from oh shit moment to I saw that one coming kind of vibe. Okay, let's get back to our practice. Right now we want to progress what we've already covered in our first exercise, but to the whole equation we want to add on a catch and a launch footwork. So when you catch your ball in front of you, we want to do a launch from your fencing stance. I already covered how to do a launch in one of my previous videos, but to remind you, to do a perfect launch, first of all, you have to extend your arm first, so your arm leads the movement. Then your front foot kicks out to the front, like you'd want to show your underfoot to your opponent, and you land it while your back leg is extending also. And this is like the stance that you want to finish the whole motion. You can see my knee doesn't go over my foot. And to come back to reset from the lunge, we want to change our point of gravity backwards towards our back leg and a bit of push out with our front foot and just reset to our casual, usual fencing stance. So let's start our practice. We'll do 10 times the movement, which looks like this. You throw, you catch, but you also add the lunge and you extend your arms. If you feel that you threw your ball a bit more to the front, then don't be scared to add on a fencing step and then lunge, because that's how we actually link our footwork patterns into one fluid motion, because you can clearly see that your ball is running away from you, so we add the fencing step and a lunge to catch it further. Well, now I have to get it. Okay, so we'll throw our ball with our dominant hand first, 10 times. So let's begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And moving on, we'll progress this by throwing our ball with our non-dominant hand. But the whole motion is basically the same. We just started off with our left hand, or if you're a lefty, then the other one. So let's begin. 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You could see I didn't have to do a huge lunge forward if I threw my ball a bit closer to myself. So yeah, that's the thing that you should remember also, that the lunges don't have to be huge. Like, you don't have to fly forward to catch your ball if you threw it closer to yourself. You just have to do a shorter lunge, which is way more faster, but also is way more comfortable, because you don't have to go as slow as you can, because the short lunge is way more comfortable than just going forward with your full body. Right now, when you have a break, let me tell you the fourth point, which is the presence factor of these kind of practices. Reflexes are built in the present. So what I mean is that you can't be daydreaming about your work, about your exams, about your notification on your phones, or more bullshit in your life, because these practices make you focus right here and right now. When you train reflexes, you make your body and mind focus and synchronize as one. In some sorts, it's like meditation through motion. That's why every great martial artist and top HEMAist seems calm under pressure, even when they're like deadly in full focus mode, because they've built that presence through repetition. So let's come back to our practices. The third practice that I want to show you and I want you to drill with me is when we add on to our previous practice a clap mid-flight of our ball. Looks something like this. Once more. This is basically harder than the last time, but that's why we progress through this practice. So once again, let's get into our fencing stance, bend our knees, and let's do this kind of motion with our main hand throwing the ball 10 times. But of course, mid-flight, we want to clap our hands together and catch our ball and then add the lunge. Or while catching the ball, adding on the lunge to give ourselves more reach. But of course, each throw is a bit different. That's why we have to adapt to each one of them. So let's begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And let's do this one more time, but we want to throw our ball with our left hand, so with our non-dominant hand. Take a break and let's begin. And of course, remember to breathe. Let's begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great job. While you have a break, let me tell you 2 more specific points. The fifth one is how it connects to sparring. When you're training reflexes this way, someday you'll notice in sparring that you see more patterns and you start to feel that you're anticipating correctly something. You'll start to predict your opponent better, catch these patterns more, and you will counter your opponent more naturally. And this is how you stop overthinking mid-fighting and you actually start to fight with your instincts turned on. Remember, every sparring exchange is not just about pure I hit you, you hit me, and you have more points than me, or vice versa, but about you testing your calmness under that chaos and pressure. My 6th point is about the most common beginner mistakes with this kind of practices. So we already tackled most of our practices today, but I want to tell you these things that you've probably already did right now. First of all, you train too fast and too soon. So you don't give yourself more time to reset each of your repetition before the next one. You try to do it all too quickly, and you don't try to focus on each of these like reps. So slow it down and let your body learn. And if you feel that I'm doing these drills too quickly in this video, then just pause the video and do it yourself. I'm showing you these drills and doing it with you, like follow along kind of guide, because I want to inspire you more. But if you feel that you can't keep up with me, then don't be sad. Just pause the video and do these kind of practices in your own tempo. The second beginner mistake is that you hold the tension in your shoulders. So what I mean is, when you try to catch your ball mid-flight, you do this kind of shrug shoulders move. So you tense up your shoulders while catching the ball. I want you to be relaxed while anticipating the ball to then commit to catching it. So if you feel the tension in your shoulders, and even if you don't, you probably still have it, just do this motion. Bring your shoulders up and to the back and relax. So pull them down, but by relaxing them. Do it at least 2 or 3 times to fully relax your arms. So up, back, and relax. This will instantly make you more relaxed and more confident with this kind of posture and body language. And this will also help you out in catching your ball better, because you will not anticipate while being tensed, but you'll be relaxed, and that relaxation gives you the power and gives you the proper drive to catch your ball when you have to catch it, not when it's still there. Okay, the third beginner common mistake is that you probably stop too early. So what I mean is the basic kind of advice that you probably lack consistency. So without consistency, you will not train and acquire these superhuman reflexes. So you have to remember to train these kind of exercises at least a few times a week, even if not every day. And the fourth and the most funny beginner common mistake to me is that you probably try to look cool while doing these exercises. Stop that immediately. We want to focus on you improving your reflexes than you looking cool and majestic in the sun. No, stop that immediately. Coming back to our practice, our fourth and the last drill today is the variation of our clap, but instead of clapping our hands while our ball is in the air, we want to do a squat and then catch and launch our ball. It looks something like this. So we want to throw our ball as high as we can while doing a squat, and to do it properly, we don't want to do just a half squat. With our non-dominant hand, we want to touch the ground with our fingers and try to do a lunge, so catch our ball with a lunge from the squat position if you're not too quick, or if you have the power to come back to the fencing stance, it will be a lot easier to do the lunge. So yes, right now we'll train your legs also. Let's do it 10 times. And remember, our dominant hand is throwing the ball, and our non-dominant hand tries to touch the ground while our ball is in air. So let's begin. 1. Ooh. 2. 3. Ah. See, that's hard, but that's fun. 4. Oh. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. Oh yeah. 10. Whew. Okay, we did all of our basic drills today, but I have a proper challenge for you. This practice is the most craziest one. We want to turn back in our fencing stance and throw our ball upwards, but to the back. So we want to throw our ball, turn around and do a lunge to catch it. Once more. Yes. Let's go. That's all for our practice today. So my final message to you that you can have all the technique in the world, but without proper reflexes, it will do nothing. It will be totally useless. That's why the weak stay on the couch playing their video games, but you today chose the harder, the better and the more rewarding path. You're here because you're doing the real thing, which is way more harder than just pressing a button on your mouse button. So great job. And if you're totally serious about it and you trust me enough, then check out the link in the description, which is my program called From Gamer to Swordsman, where I specifically teach you in my Longsword for Beginners guide how to do more these kind of practices, but also with a basic solo drills with a sword or a training sword. And if you just want to support this YouTube channel, then that's also the place for you. This is a community of guys who want to improve their sword fighting skills and also want to share their own feedback or their own experiences or just beginner mistakes that they've learned. So yes, check out the link in the description. And remember, always take the initiative.